projector's down, so I'm just gonna selflessly, just gonna project myself.
You should not have any trouble.
That's right. I've done this lots of times. All right, so I'm Troy. I'm with Troy Anthony, so I am the custom clothier of the group. Like I always say, I'm here to help you guys look good. And so a few of you guys have used my services so far, and so we'll be having some delivery soon, so I'll have a couple billboards around the room. Originally, I am from Michigan. I had a picture of me when I was younger, when I first started dressing. It was pretty embarrassing, so it's a shame we can't see it. But I'm... Oh yeah, I could just do that. I'll do Facebook afterwards. So, I'm from Michigan originally. I've been in LA for 12 years. It'll be 13 years next spring, next March. I like to go to different restaurants. That's one of my favorite things. I consider myself kind of a foodie. So I really like to go out and try new food. Whenever there's a new restaurant, like I had a lunch bunch with Mike last Saturday at a really great Italian place, and so that was a new one that was really great.
And we got free food.
We did get free food. So that's just a little bit about me. The next thing is like, how did I get into the industry? A lot of people ask me that. As a kid, I watched a lot of movies with my mom. And it was in the 90s, and so a lot of guys were still dressing. The casual Friday thing didn't have such an effect on the world, and so I always kind of emulated the main character, and I always wanted to dress, and I always just wanted to kind of be that guy. I kind of equated that with success. And so after that, I moved to LA and found out there was actually a clothing industry. And so I kind of fell into it through a girl that I was dating, and so I started out working in a warehouse for a German outerwear company, and so I started traveling all over the US when they put me in sales, and then I was able to encounter clothing again at a different aspect. I was able to get to know the best brands, and then also learn style, and it's just kind of enhanced the skills. And so 10 years into my career, I actually started in the custom side, and so I was working for a cloth mill. And I was able to go and visit Milan, I was able to go and visit Biella, I was able to go and visit Savile Row, I was able to go to Huddersfield, England, and just be able to see where cloth was made. I was able to go to bespoke tailor shops and find out what's great about a suit. And so it was just really great. And so that just kind of even more pushed me to go ahead and start my own brand. And so when I started my own brand, it was just kind of natural progression. You know, it was like the next thing, it was just why it was the obvious choice. And so now it's been just about a year, and so Troy Anthony is a year old as of last month. And so it's been great. It's been really great. The next thing is just basically what's the process? You know, a lot of times people ask me, how long is this going to take, or where do where's your shop? The cool thing about what I do, actually one of the burning desires that I had shared with the bio, is that I want to be able to travel and do my job at the same time. So I want to be able to build a brand so it's recognizable enough so where I could go to Sydney and say, hey, I'm going to be in town for 2 weeks, like, get your fittings going. And then I could just do a couple hours of work and then just kind of vacation as well at the same time. I actually have a cool picture here of me measuring a guy on a dock down in San Clemente. So it's easy, I can literally do it anywhere. So as long as I've got cloth, my tape, order forms in my square reader, I'm all good to go. So it starts out with me asking a guy, so like if it's Vinny, I'm gonna say, hey Vinny, like what do you have in your closet right now? Like what do you need? So I'm not necessarily looking to replace what already works for you. If you've got your navy, your charcoal suit covered, great. If it works, we're gonna build your wardrobe. The tagline for the company is we don't sell suits, we sell wardrobes. And so essentially I'm just trying to help you build out your wardrobe and always have something to wear. One thing that I always enjoy is when I go somewhere, I can mix and match my suits because I have a nice collection. And that's just a great feeling to say, oh man, this is a whole new look. It's almost like you have a whole new outfit, that you've never worn before. So the first step is to go ahead and assess what you need. So we'll look at cloth, we'll look at buttons, we'll look at lapel styles, we'll look at different pant options. So on my pants, I normally do a side tab instead of belt loops. We'll look at the pant styles, if you want cuffs. I mean, it's custom, so literally anything you want can most likely be done. So the next step is we're gonna go ahead and get you measured. I do 36 measurements. I look at your posture, I look at your shoulder slope. A lot of times people go, oh yeah, there's this app. And there will never be a machine that can do what a real custom clothier or a real tailor can do, just because the shoulder is such an important part of the suit. And so the next thing is I send it off to production. I have a picture here of buttonholes being sewn by hand. Even in my red label Chinese make, I upgrade to handmade buttonholes just because I believe that a buttonhole should be sufficient and it should withstand the test of time. So it's an additional cost, but I don't pass that to my customer. I just believe that's what it should be. After that, the garment comes back in. It normally takes about 6 weeks. I deliver it, and then we do the first fitting. I have a high success rate of delivering a garment with no alterations, but it does happen naturally that maybe the sleeve is a little longer, maybe the trousers are a little longer. Especially if I measure a guy in jeans, I will bring this trouser in longer because it's easier to shorten it. You can't lengthen it. If it's too short, it's too short and you have to remake it. So that's the process. The next slide is basically showing some of our different services. Obviously we do suits. I'm also in the food and beverage industry. There's a restaurant in Houston that I got to know the owner, and he's like, man, our bartenders are just blowing through these vests. See, they were getting dirty, they had to dry clean them all the time, they could just never have enough vests, you know, and so I actually sourced a material that's waterproof, stain-proof, and wrinkle-proof. Wow. And so now they've reduced their dry clean, and it's the great thing for behind the bar. And so it was a great color that matched right in with the restaurant, and all their bartenders wear them. So it's like, essentially, like I said, it could be anyone. You know, it could be restaurants, it can be individuals, it can be real estate agents, anyone who needs custom, I can do it. We do shorts, we do short sleeve shirts, we do long sleeve shirts, we do shoes. Our shoes are all handmade in Spain. This is actually a pair of them, I can show you guys individually. But it's just really, there's an abundance of what we do. I also do my own neckwear and accessories as well. So the next thing is like, why us? Why go with me over anyone else? My tenure in the industry has basically made me an expert in cloth, in style, and in make. So I know everything about suits. It's essentially just like Hassan, what he does with social media. He knows every single thing. He knows things that you don't even think about. So that's essentially what I am for clothing. So also the amount of cloth that I have access to. I had a client, actually Vivian referred me this guy. He was like, oh yeah, I have a shirt guy, but he can't find these two different materials. And so I'm like, oh, I have that. So I have access directly with the mills because of my time over there. So I can get just about anything. If it's a vintage cloth, obviously it's a little harder to get, but any pattern I can normally source it. And so again, back to that, we don't sell suits, we build wardrobes things. It's mainly what we offer is we want to go ahead and we want to build out your wardrobe, like I said. I'm not looking to just sell you suits and just constantly, I want to help you have a wardrobe, whatever that means to you. It can be the most casual, it can be the most fashion forward, or it can be the most classic. A lot of times since I wear slimmer suits, guys go, oh, I don't want a skinny suit. It's like, it's custom, it can be whatever you want. So, and then the last thing is just going to be questions. Yeah?
I have two.
Okay.
What's your best source of referrals? Who gives you your best referrals? And what's your worst fashion faux pas?
Oh God, I'll start with that. The Fox guys are terrible. Did you say football?
No, faux pas. What's your worst fashion mistake?
Oh, okay. I thought you said the worst football, because we have this conversation like every Sunday, me and my buddies. I was like, oh God, don't start. So, the worst fashion faux pas is when guys go monochrome. A lot of guys are doing this lately where they do like a pattern, and a pattern, and it's the same pattern, and it's all the same gray. And I just hate it. It's just like, it just makes you dizzy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like different color shoes and belt or something.
No, that's actually, so a friend of mine who's like kind of my mentor in the industry taught me the rules of the industry and dressing, and he always says you have to know the rules before you can break them, and that's one that you can break. There's ways to get around it. Like if I was wearing a brown belt, I'm not going to wear a blue belt just because I have on blue shoes. So you don't necessarily have to. That's a common mistake. And then what was your first question?
Who is the best source of business for you? Who gives you your best referrals? And that we can send you similar people like that?
I mean, basically your financial advisors, real estate guys, then you've got, you know, just like, I mean, athletes are okay, but my real meat and potatoes, lawyers, real estate, and then financial advisors. Those are my big guys. Yeah, hold on, Greg was next.
Troy, so I noticed long pants are getting shorter and shorter, and fun socks have are popular.
Yeah.
But they seem to be getting longer again.
The trousers?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how short do long pants get?
So for me, I normally like my trouser just to barely touch the shoe. In Italy, they're actually going thicker in the waist, thicker in the knee, and longer in the trouser. They're going for a more classic look. So to answer your question, the shorter trouser is still in, but give it about a year and a half and everyone's going to be wearing pleats again and longer pants. So yeah, even pleats are coming back.
No, please, no, please.
For sure. So that's my most fun when I meet a guy who can't dress, because if he admits it, or if he's like, I hate it, it's the easiest, because that's where my expertise will just shine. You know, when a guy kind of just allows me to do what I need to do, it works out. I actually worked with Goldstein the other day, and he's like, dude, whatever you think, whatever, and I'm like, that's perfect, okay, cool. So, but most guys can't, most guys just don't consider dressing in the US because it's not a part of our culture. In Europe, you know, England, Italy, it's a part of their culture. It's a part of their heritage from years ago. Even their soldiers dressed. And so a lot of our current clothing actually comes from wartime clothing. So, all right, you go Michael, and then I'll go to Pine.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, first of all, I'm waiting for my first suit from Troy.
Yeah.
This isn't it. But I just want to mention, a very wise friend of mine once told me, you know, you see like a Zegna suit on sale for $650, you're like, oh, I'm gonna get it. And then you wear it 3 or 4 times, and you end up paying, you know, like way too much, because then you give it away after 3 or 4 times. You get something that's really quality, and okay, it costs more, but you wear it 200 times over 5 or 6 years, and it's like cheaper than anything else you get.
My Italian suits are meant to last up to 10 years and plus. Obviously, it depends on the wear. But then the Chinese are 3 to 5, depending on the wear as well. I mean, obviously you have to properly care for your suits, but I mean, that's a part of the whole build the wardrobe.
And they're not even that expensive, what he's got.
Yeah, I have a relationship with the factories and with the mills, so I'm able to consolidate the price to offer you the best price on the market. Pine?
We're seeing a very strange trend about wearing dress shoes with no socks. Is it a fashion crime, or is it going to last unfortunately for one time, or what's the situation?
So the reason why is because the pants got shorter, and then the socks were a little too loud because of the pattern on the pant. And so a lot of guys, even myself, I go with a no-show sock. So I have on socks, I just don't show them. So, yeah. Oh, I mean, if you, it's up to you. If you want to. For me, I just don't do it because I don't want my shoes to stink. But some guys, you know, they spray their shoes. They do. It's personal choice. Joel.
So you said you like to do personal fitting. I mean, fitting in person. If we knew people who were not local but might be customers for you, how would you work?
So normally, if I have to travel to the East Coast, I have a $7,000 minimum that you have to spend. If it's West Coast, like San Francisco, I just require 1 suit and a shirt. And so it's about $3,000 for the minimum, just to cover my travel costs. But I actually have a customer who I flew to San Francisco, measured him, and flew back literally in 1 day, just did a trip. And so it was for his wedding suit, and so, you know, I'll do that. But yeah, I travel. Houston is actually my #1 market. I'm in Houston pretty often. And then Miami is #3, LA is #2. So I think we have time for one more question, or are we done?
We are done. Let's hear it for Troy Russell, everyone. Troy Anthony.